Hi, in this video, we're going to take a look at configuring VLANs. Okay, first of all, if you're on a switch that has been used and you want to start it clean from fresh, you need to delete the VLAN.dat file. Okay, and then erase the startup config, and then that'll make sure, and then reload the switch, and that'll make sure that we gotten rid of any of the existing VLANs. Okay, so creating static user VLANs. All right, so let's create a VLAN 10. So I say VLAN 10, and notice I go into VLAN subconfiguration mode, and I can give it a name, like name HR for human resources. The name is totally optional. Then I go into the interface, and this is where I assign an interface to a specific VLAN. So I'm going to say switch port mode access. Talk about that more later when we talk about VLAN trunking protocol, or I'm sorry, dynamic trunking protocol, excuse me. But we use this command when there's only a single host attached. We are not going to be doing any kind of trunking on that port. Okay, so, and a lot of times that's what you want to make all your ports by default is switch port mode access. All right, say switch port access VLAN 10, and this is where we actually assign the port to the VLAN. Now, what if I didn't name the do the VLAN 10 up here? No problem. When you give this command here, switch port access VLAN 10, if the VLAN does not exist, it will create it. Okay, let's make this a little easier on us because we don't want to be configuring port by port, do we? So we use the interface range command, and we can actually give a range of ports. Now be careful here; it will correct you if you're wrong, do a syntax mistake. But we use the module port number 0/1 space dash, and then just the port number 1 through 10 on module 0. Okay. All right. So we say switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 10. So that's going to make those 10 ports all member of VLAN 10. Exit. And then I can do ones that are outside that range. I could do another range, or if it's a specific port, like our gig 01 port, I can make that also VLAN 10. Don't forget the switch port mode access. Again, that's for purposes of dynamic trunking protocol. We do not want to be trunking on ports where there's only one device. Okay. All right, you'll learn more about that in later videos. All right, let's do the same thing here for VLAN 20. VLAN 20, I'm going to give it the name sales. And it doesn't have to be in uppercase. Notice it's all in the uppercase here. But that's sometimes a nice best practice. When I see things in uppercase, that means that I gave it a name, or whoever configured this device gave it this name. So a lot of times we use uppercase for VLAN names, access control list names, things like that. All right, do the interface range, same thing, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20. This switch port access command does not make it mode access. Okay, so make sure you do the switch port mode access. Again, that means that we're not going to be trunking on that port. Okay, and specifically configure gig 02 for the same VLAN 20. All right, let's do that show VLAN and see what we have. And this is nice, huh? We see our VLAN 10 and our VLAN 20 with the names, which we do not have to name them. If we don't, then they'll just default to, we'll just use the number. We'll see where we can use the name later on. But we still have some ports in VLAN 1. We don't have to, okay, by the way. We don't have to leave some ports in VLAN 1, but we're just doing it here to show that those ports that we did in the range got assigned to both VLANs 10 and VLAN 20, including our gig ports. I can do show interface fast Ethernet 0/1 switch port command. Okay, this will actually show us that this port is on VLAN 10 and it is in access mode. We're not trunking on it. Okay. Show interface fast Ethernet 011. So here's one of those ports where I did not assign it to a VLAN, meaning that it is still associated with VLAN 1. So just because I didn't assign it to a VLAN doesn't mean it's not assigned. Remember, by default, all of our ports are assigned to VLAN 1, our default VLAN. Okay, I can do the command show VLAN brief. All right. Nice little command there. I can also do show VLAN and then ID and give the VLAN number like 10. So that shows our VLAN 10, and the name is HR. Or I can do show VLAN name and give the name, sales in this case. Okay. Either one of those commands use parameters using show VLAN with either the ID, the VLAN number, or the name will show us just that VLAN. Okay, let's verify some VLANs. What if I created VLAN 444? Okay, do an end show VLAN. Now notice that VLAN 444 shows up when I do show VLAN, but notice there's no ports that are assigned to that VLAN. Okay. If I do config T, if I want to remove a VLAN, I do no VLAN. Now you want to be careful, by the way, when you do a no VLAN, because if I did no VLAN 10, what would happen is all these ports here would be in limbo. They couldn't be used. You wouldn't see them when you do show VLAN. Okay, so be careful when you do the no VLAN. So doing a no VLAN on a VLAN where you do have ports assigned puts those ports in a limbo state. Okay, so I do no VLAN. If I do show VLAN ID 4444, it will actually tell me, sorry, Rick, 444 is not found in the current VLAN database. Management VLAN. So early on in your CCNA learning, we always have interface VLAN 1, and that's where we put the IPv4 or IPv6 address. And we use that address to SSH into the switch or telnet in a lab environment. Okay. And we did that because we didn't do VLANs yet, or really we did, but everything was on the same VLAN or the same subnet. Okay. Well, it's best practice to actually change the VLAN, not make the your management VLAN some VLAN other than VLAN 1. All of our VLAN should be a VLAN other than VLAN 1. So for example, if I had here, I've got a couple of switches. I'm going to be using this example when we get into VTB trunking coming up really soon. But I created VLAN interface VLAN 155, and that's where I put my IPv4 address, and I should put an IPv6 address too. Okay, so I call it VLAN 155 name management. So, okay, do the same thing on switch 2. Okay. We'll see how this is used more a little later. Okay. But this is the address here that I'm going to use to SSH into switch 1, or the address I'm going to use to SSH into switch 2. Okay, so that's a first introduction into configuring VLANs. Really not too difficult.